remain D and then E. If the B is a subset of D, then composition function of G times F as a function of X so is a function of the domain A such that G times F as a function of X is equal to G as a function of F of X. So inana na sa mga pagka-forma o function composition. So
Ano nga sir, formula na? May tag-foil method.
So A. So di ba atong given is so we have G times F of X is equal to, di ba mahimo siyang G of the function of F of X, right? Nani man to? Tara. So inanaon siya. So is equal to G, so F of X, di ba your F of X, so we have our F of X, so dili na ta. So F of X, so your F of X is equal to the F of X kanina to. So F of X, then G of X. So F of X na to is equal to X squared plus 1. Right? Sakto? So atong paon ang G of X squared plus 1. So from the equation dito nga which is G of X is equal to 1 over X. So you have G of X squared plus 1 which is equal to 1 over X squared plus 1. Right? Sakto? Nasabtan?
Gamay.
Right sa right.
So let's proceed letter B. So G times F of 4, diba? Is equal to G of F of 4. Sakto? Pagka-right? Di naman sa X, kung nasa value. So from F of 4, your F of 4 is equal to, so F of X is equal to X squared plus 1. So your F of 4 is equal to 4 squared plus 1. So have your F of 4 is equal to 16 plus 1 which is equal to 17, right? Sakto?
Sakto ka sir.
Okay na sir.
You have your G of 17. Then your G of X which is equal to 1 over X is equal to which is equal to 1 over 17.
Nganong na 17 man na sir?
Ha?
Sir, nganong na 17 man na sir?
Kay G of 17 naman siya. Ang X nimo is 17. Kay naraman siya, G of 17 man. So G of 17 is equal to umunang 1 over X, so 1 over 17.
Bale sir, ang value sa X ikuha dito sa F of X.
Kaniyo, G of 17.
O muna ng X ng 17.
You have G of F of 4. So your F of 4 came up siya into 17. So you have the new function which is G of 17 na po. Sakto, di ba? Pareho na ni.
Nganong na 17 man na sir?
Your F of X is X squared plus 1. So you have G X squared plus 1. So your X, so your G of X squared plus 1 is equal to substitute rin mo sa X nimo. So 1 over X squared plus 1. So, but your x is 4. So, you have 17.
16,
No, 17. Sakto. 16 plus 1.
17.
So, plus 1 is 17. So, you have g of 17. So, you have g of x is equal to 1 over x. So, your g of 17 is equal to 1 over 17. So, i-substitute ra sa x. So, mas nakuha na.
Kuha na, sir.
So, second, kaduha. So, you have ano? You have g of f of negative 1 half, which is equal to g times f of negative 1 half. So, your f of negative 1 half is equal to, di ba, your f of x is kaniman siya. So, you have x squared. So, you have negative 1 half squared plus 1, right? So, which is equal to negative 1 half squared. So, 1 positive, negative times negative is positive. Then, 1 squared is 1. Then, 2 squared is 4. So, 1/4 plus 1, which is equal to 4 times 1 is 1 plus 4 is 5/4. 1 on 1/4 or 5/4. Sakto. So, you have now g of 5/4. Right? So, your g of x is equal to 1 over x. So, you have g of 5/4 is equal to 1 over 5/4. So, or equal to 4/5. Sakto? Right?
Sir, paspasay ra.
Ay, pasay. Ano mo, hinahinara man ito nako. Moro manggapon siya na process. F of negative 1, so your f of x, f of negative 1 is your f of x is kaniman. So, x squared plus 1. So, substitute nimo as your x is negative 1 half. So, you have negative 1 half squared plus 1. And is equal to negative 1 half squared is positive 1/4 plus 1. So, 1 and 1/4 or 5/4. So, you have now the g of 5/4. Then your g of x is equal to the 1 over x. 1 over x, ano eh. Tapos, your g of 5/4 is equal to, isubstitute nimo ang 5/4 sa x, so 1 over 5/4. So, 1 divided by 5/4 is, ay mo siya multiplication process, reciprocal sa divisor, which is 5/4. So, 5/4, yung reciprocal is 4/5. Then, 1 times 4/5 is 4/5. So, mo na siyang 4/5. So, kuha na. Okay na. Kasabtan.
Yes, sir.
Perhaps.
16 plus 1. So, 1 squared, 1, 4 times 4 squared is 16. So, 1 over 16. So, your f1/4 is equal to 16 times 1. And plus 16 is 17. 17 over 16. So, your g, atong ikon diri ha, kani siya. We have g of x equation, which is given 1 over x. So, g of negative 1 half is equal to 1 over negative 1 half. Right? So, diba kung divide siya, may mo siyang g of negative 1 half is equal to 1 times inverse negative 2. So, which is equal to negative 2. Right? Sakto?
Sakto sa'yo, sir.
So, it's equal to
Yeah.
F, sa man.
Dayon lang sir.
Ha?
Dayon na din.
Ano data?
Dayon na, padayon.
Now, F of, so you have F, so G of negative 1 half is, you have negative 2. So, you have now F of negative 2. So, your F of X is equal to X squared plus 1. So, you have X of negative 2. So, you have negative 2 squared plus 1. So, you have F of negative 2 equal to negative times negative, positive. So, positive 4 plus 1. So, you have F of negative 2 is equal to 5. So,
Ano, alay? Na.
so okay na?
Oo, sir. Oo, sir.
So, change sa y, yung sa value sa y, then change sa x. So, muna siya pag slope. So, measure both stiffness and direction of the line. So, up and down sa line. Then, from left to right or left to right. Depende sa imo kung asa ka hatag og negative. So, if the slope is positive, so if m is equal to positive, which is then if your m is less equal to 0, so your line is horizontal lang siya, straight lang siya within x axis. So, kinata? Then, consider the line passing through the points x sub 1, y sub 2, and x sub 2, y sub 2. Let change of y is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1, and change of x is equal to x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Denote that the change in y and x respectively. So, the slope of the line is, so m denoted as the slope is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is equal to delta y divided by delta x, which is equal to y na sabdan.
Mau yun.
So, sa slope.
Sir.
Paano kayo?
So, familiar naman mo na, di ba?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
paglisod.
Yes, sir. Uy, klaro si Giovanni, sir. Sir, sir.
Source lugar murag maayo ni sa Japan. Isa to si
Giovanni.
Murag kita na ko sa akong amigohon.
Giovanni. Top, sir. Dili po to. Top 1.
Top global mo na squad, sir. Los Arcos.
mo lagi.
Pista na, sir.
Dito ako, sir, oy.
So, slope. So, consider the line passing to the point x sub 1, y sub 1 with a slope m. So, you can create the equation. So, having the slope and also the point, only one point. So, it is called point slope equation. So, it is y minus y sub 1 is equal to m, which is the slope, times x minus x sub 1. Then consider a line with the slope. So with a slope and an x-intercept, which is 0b. So the equation is, the b here is the y-intercept. So you have only the slope and the x-intercept, which is the point passing through the y-axis. So you can create the equation which is y is equal to mx plus b. Which is called slope intercept form equation. So And then the standard form of a line is given with the equation which is ax plus by is equal to c. So where a and b are both non-zero. So why is it both non-zero ang a o b?
The value, sir.
Ah,
Para sa value, sir. Multiply, sir.
Dili. A o b is both non-zero because you can create that
Nasa sa
line.
axis.
Ha?
Variable na siya, sir.
Variable. Dili siya zero. Kani nga variable is dili siya zero cause nasa value. Cause dili siya either positive or negative. Okay, kung dili mo ka-create og line, if your A and B is zero, kung ano man, wala kay y-axis, wala kay, kung zero ang A, wala kay x-axis, and B, also B is wala kay y values going nga value sa y, subot pasabot, zero ang y. So you can create a line. So dili siya line. So constant lang siya, value lang siya. So okay ra kung linear functions. So A, so find the slope of the line. So kabalo na ani.
Yes, sir.
Pero review. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 is equal to x sub 2 minus x sub 1, which is equal to, atong i-consider is x sub 1, then x sub 2, x sub 2, y sub 1. Y sub 1, pair mo na sila, then x sub 2, then y sub 2. So 0.1 and 0.2. So y sub 2 is 5, then minus y sub 1 is negative 4, divided by x sub 2 which is negative 4, and then y sub 1 is positive 11 which is minus 11. So that's why your slope is equal to 5 my negative plus negative times negative positive, so 5 plus 4 is equal to 9 over negative 4 minus 11 is negative 15. Right? So you have negative 9 over 15. Ang slope.
Mao na nag-answer, sir.
Oh, muna na sila. Muna yung slope. Muna yung slope sa line. Muna yung answer.
Walang save tayo, mi.
Murag
Di na ma-convert by 3, sir. Di na, pwede i-convert.
Pwede ra. So,
By 3. Divide pa maguro na 3, sir. Divide.
So, kung inanap ito, so pwede ra ni mo i-equate ni mo is
lowest term.
kung ikuha mo na ay mo sa negative 3 over 5.
Pero pwede ra dili na i-announcer.
So, para di nakamadak-an, kung magina, i-lowest form magina siya nimo. So, negative 3 over 5. So, kay answer. So, second is find an equation for this linear function and a point slope form. So, point slope form is this one. So, you have y. So, let's take this one, a point 1. So, b na ni siya, b. So, y minus y sub 1 which is negative 4 is equal to the slope which is negative 3 over 5. Then x minus x sub 1 which is 11. So you have now negative times negative positive. So y plus 4 is equal to negative 3/5 x minus 11. So, parehas lang forma. So, that's the point slope equation. So, mana na siya. Point slope equation.
Pattern gyud na sila, sir. Sunod gyud no.
Then, find an equation for this linear function in a slope-intercept form. So, wala ta kabalo sa ang y-intercept, di ba? Okay, slope-intercept form. So, you are going to get or identify the y-intercept. So, from this equation, pwede na to siya gamiton. So, letter C. So, y plus 4 is equal to negative 3/5 x minus 11, which is equal to y plus 4 is equal to negative 3/5 x minus 33 over 5, right? 3 times 3/5 times x, then 3/5 times positive. Positive.
Asa lagi ka ng
Positive,
calculator, sir?
Sir,
3/5.
times, sir.
No, negative 3/5 times negative 11. So, kung mag-multiply ka, numerator times denominator, denominator times denominator biya. So, ang denominator is always 1 man na.
Visible 1.
Ha? So, muna siyang numerator is 3 times 3. Negative times negative, positive. So, plus. Then, numerator 11, denominator 1, 5 ug 1. So, 33 over 5. So, okay na?
Pina.
So, i-multiply na to both sides sa entire equation. So, sa 5. So, sa 5, di ba?
Anong 5
So,
months, sir?
you have para makuha ang mga denominator niya.
Asa man pagluto la?
Denominator. So, para
Oh.
whole number ato
Luto na ko
makuha
na ron.
ang number. So, 5 times y, 5y, 5 times 4, positive is positive 20. Then, is equal
Oo.
to negative
Na, alas
5
5
times
kutob.
negative 3/5. So, cancel ang 5. So, na mo siyang negative 3x.
Mat ni mat.
Then 33 over
Hindi
5,
kalusod.
cancel 5 kyapon. So, may mo siyang plus 33. Kuha.
Sir, common denominator ng 5, sir.
Ha?
Common denominator ng 5.
Less common multiple. Makamultiply na para
Multiple days, sir.
oo, para ikon nga ma-whole siya, whole number ang tanan. So, you have ibali na tong 3x. You have 3x positive negative into positive plus 5y, right? Di ba, sir? Standard equation is by is equal to c. So, then is equal to 33 plus minus 20 from positive palhin negative. So, you have now 3x. Ay, no. Kalo. Isa. Mali.
Bantog rin naglibog ko.
Ay, ang akong gipadayon is ang, ang equation. So, supposedly, ang kwaon na to is, yaarang x, yaang y-intercept. So, y equals mx plus b. So, y-intercept man day atong kwaon day. Loko, nakalimot. Equation na akong pangita. So, we have y is equal to
4.
negative 3/5 x plus 33 over 5 minus 4, right? So, y is equal to negative 3/5 x. So, negative 33 over 5 minus 4, pila? Isa na yung calculator dia.
29 over
29 over 5, sir.
Ha? 33 over 5 minus 4, pila? 13 over 5. 13 over 5. Ito, di ba? Yeah, sa ito yung i-solve diri. So, 33
Times 1.
5 minus 4. So, we have, 5. 5 times, 5 divided by 1 is 1 times the 33. Minus 5 divided by 1, 5 times 4, 20. So, 33 minus 20 is 13 over 5. So, sakto. So, 13 over 5. So, muna siya imong, so your B, or your y-intercept is 13 over 5. Right? Your B is 13 over 5. So, na kay B. So, makakreate na ka sa line nimo. So, from that one, so you can create the y is equal to mx plus b. So, you have y is equal to your slope is negative 3/5 x plus 13 over 5. So, you have now your slope intercept form ng equation. So, kuha. Yeah, standard form ng equation. So, pwede nato ni siya gamiton as para sa standard form na itong equation. Or pwede ra gyapon gani ni. So, pwede diri nata sa slope. So, y is equal to negative 3/5 x plus 13 over 5. So, multiply entire equation by 5 para may mong constant. So, we have 5y is equal to cancel 5 denominator kay. So, we have negative 3x. Then, we have plus cancel sa 5 of 5. So, we have 13. So, we have now balhin ang 3x. So, we have 3x positive from negative mo positive plus 5y remain is equal to remain ra gyapon which is 13. So, muna imo ang standard form ng equation.
Mo na sir. Resulta sir.
So, muna na siya mga answer. So, this one, and this one, tapos this one.
Lisod gid ay gamay sir no.
Kasi raman, sabta lang.
Perting lisuda.
So, na form of fx, a sub n, x to the power of n, then diminishing is equal to b squared negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And then the discriminant is will be determined by b squared minus 4ac, where discriminant is greater than 0. So you have two roots. You have the roots of the two roots are two real numbers. Then if your discriminant is equal to 0, so one solution and it is real number, so only one solution. So isa ra ka mong number nga satisfy na sa equation. And then d is less than 0, so no real number or imaginary number ang iyang roots. So natong na AI so kay square. So always remember na if A is greater than 0, so your parabola is opening upward. Then if A is less than 0, so your graph of your parabola is opening downward. So let's take siya is as letter A, then letter B. So A. So there are three method in finding the roots of a quadratic equation. First is completing the square. First is factoring. Second is by quadratic equation, which is given kanisa nga given quadratic formula. So by using by quadratic formula. And the third one is by completing the square. So anything is nasa na as long as makuha ni mong roots. Serve as review ra mo po ni sa formula mo po ni. Sir start pa na to function. So let's take example 1. So 2x. So let equate lang nato ni dito as sa 0. So 2x squared plus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. So, factor sa 2 is 1 and 2, and factor sa 1 is 1, 1. So, always na 2x, then we have the other one is x. Positive, then 1, then 1. So, positive, all are positive, so positive plus. So, check ta sa 1 is 2x plus 1 times x is 1x. So 2x plus 1x is 3x. So sakto to 0. So equate both factor sa 0 para makuha iya ang roots. So we have 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. So we have 2x is equal to negative 1 divided by 2 divided by 2. So we have x first root, which is x sub 1, is equal to negative 1 half. And the other root is x plus 1, which is equal to 0. So x is equal to negative 1. So we have root, second root, which is negative 1. So okay siya. Sabtan man siguro na. Kaya marag familiar naman mo na. Yeah. So let's take letter B. So we have negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 1 is equal to 0. So we have, kung i-factor na to siya, so atong testing nga, negative 2 o positive 1. So 2x o x. So negative man, so negative, positive. So negative, try na to, positive. So negative, positive 2x, then positive 1x, so 3x. Kung ibalik po siya, positive ni negative, so mura gyapon. So dili pwede. So dili siya makuha by factoring. So let's take the quadratic formula, which is x is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of 4 non. B squared minus 4ac over 2a. So x is equal to negative b, which is b. So it's a, b, and c. So carry all the sign. So negative 4. So 4b is 4, so minus 4 plus minus square root b is 4, so 4 squared minus 4 times a, which is negative 2, and then c, which is negative 1 over 2 times negative 2. So we have x is equal to negative 4 plus minus. So 4 squared is 16 minus, so 16 minus positive times negative times negative, positive times negative is negative. So negative. And 4 times 2, 8 times 1 is 8. So 8. Then 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So we have x is equal to negative 4 negative 4 divided by plus minus square root of 16. No. 16 minus 8 is 8.
8, sir.
Square root of 8 divided by negative 4. So we have pwede siya x is equal to i-distribute na to. So negative 4 over negative 4 plus minus square root of 8 divided by negative 4. So sakto, di ba? So continue. So we have
Yes, sir.
x is equal x is equal to 1, positive 1, negative negative, then plus minus. So square 8 is factorable by 4 times 2 divided by negative 4. So we have x is equal to 1 plus minus 2 square root of 2, square root of 4 is 2, then square root of 2, then negative 4. So we have x sub 1. So we have 1, let's say positive 2 square root of 2 over negative 4, which is equal to 1 plus 1 plus diba divisible sa
1 over 4, sir.
So na siya 1 over 2, 1 half, diba? 1 half, diba? 1 half. So then negative. So you can ipabaylo na nato ning pas sign diri. So may mo siyang negative minus square root of 2 divided by 2. Sakto, right? Sakto. So x sub 2, the second root is 1 minus 2 dito na ta. 2 square root of 2 divided by negative 4. So we have 1 negative times negative is positive, so plus 2 square root of 2 square root of 2 divided by 2. So natay duha ka roots, which is kini and kini. So kuha na to ang roots. So okay na?